Alright. The name is Dale, doing the movie reviews for Wrath of Man and Those Who Wish Me Dead. These movie reviews are done on behalf of Audio Liquor Magazine. I haven't been to the theater since 2020. Either it was September, late September, or sometime in October. I saw two movies in the same day. So Tenet and New Mutants, and those were the last movies that I saw in the theater. And I went recently, of course, because I'm reviewing Wrath of Man. That's only in theaters. But I would have went even before that had Judas and the Black Messiah not been on HBO Max. If it was strictly in the theater, I would have went to go see that in the theaters. And I should have, even though it was still on HBO Max. And I would have went to see Wonder Woman 1984. I'm glad I didn't. In hindsight, I didn't care for the movie. I didn't like it too much at all, really. So I'm glad I didn't see that in the theater. But nonetheless, before actually seeing it on HBO Max, if it had strictly just been in the theaters, I would have went thinking it would be entertaining. So I went a week ago to see Wrath of Man at the theaters, and I'm gonna give you a quick synopsis of what it's about. It follows this character named H, nicknamed H, who's played by Jason Statham. He works at this cash truck company that's responsible for moving hundreds of millions of dollars around Los Angeles. It's a heist flick. It's a heist that goes wrong. It's a heist flick. That's the type of movie it is, but things go wrong with this heist. I'm not going to give any spoilers. And you have a very solid cast around Jason Statham. You got Scott Eastwood, who is the son of Clint Eastwood. You got Andy Garcia. Post Malone even makes a brief appearance in this movie. It has a host of good actors with familiar faces that you've seen in other many projects before. So it has a very solid cast. The end was kind of predictable, but it doesn't take away from how good the film is. And it also jumps around. The timeline jumps around. It doesn't go in sequence. It goes from the present to the past, back to the present to the past. It jumps around. And even though it does that, it doesn't slow down or stop the momentum of the film. It even enhances the film at times, how it jumps around the timeline. And Guy Ritchie, he is director of this movie, and Guy Ritchie has a cult following of people who just love his movies. I have two folks that I know, Chopper and Rail. They really dig his movies. Anytime he makes a movie, they're ready to go see it. And how this movie stacks up to the rest of his films, this is one of his best films in my opinion. Not the best, but one of his best films. I don't think it's on the level of a Stock, Lock, and Two Smoking Barrels or Snatch, which was two of his earliest movies that got him the rep being a good filmmaker and really put him on the map and got people following his movies. And anytime he makes a movie, you know, I like the two Sherlock Holmes movies he did. The only movie that I didn't care for that he's made is the King Arthur, his version of King Arthur. I really didn't care for that film too much. And he did the Will Smith version of Aladdin. I never saw that movie. I that was an odd pairing. Him directing a Aladdin movie for Disney was just odd to me. But I never saw that movie, so I can't give you no opinion on that one. But nevertheless, the only film that he's made that I've seen that I didn't care for was King Arthur. But the rest of his movies have been very solid to good. And I highly recommend this film. I highly recommend you go see it at the theater. And I will give this a strong B+. So I'm going to move on to Those Who Wish Me Dead. You can actually see this on HBO Max if you have it, but it's also in the theater as well. And the film is about this kid who witnessed this murder, who finds himself being pursued by two assassins in the Montana wilderness. And he comes across this smoke jumper who's played by Angela Jolie. And now she's trying to protect this kid from these two killers. And this movie has a good cast as well. You know, a lot of familiar faces. Finn Little, I believe that's his name. He plays the kid. He's great. He does a good job of acting in this movie. And he has to because he really carries the film for most of the journey. And you got people like Jon Bernthal. You know him from Walking Dead. He played Shane. You know him as the Punisher. Did a great job playing the Punisher. I hope he comes back as the Punisher. You got Nicholas Hoult. You got Tory Kittles. Tyler Perry even makes a quick appearance in this movie. I thought he would be in it much longer than he was, but nah, he has a short scene nonetheless. I was shocked. I thought he'd be in it a little bit more. And you even got, I don't know the actor's name, but he played Littlefinger in Game of Thrones. He plays one of the assassins in this movie. He did a good job as one of the assassins. He was one of the highlights of the film as well. My problem with the movie was Angela Jolie. She didn't fit the role. To me, she was felt out of place for most of the film until she came across the kid. When she got with the kid, she had to act alongside with the kid. That's when she started to shine. That's when she seemed to get more comfortable. But before then, I was like, oh, she doesn't fit. She kind of taking me out of the film. But when she gets with the kid, she gets on track, and then the film becomes a better movie from that time on. I don't want to spoil it. But this film is directed by Taylor Sheridan, and he's one of my favorite writers. He's directed Wind River, very good movie. I highly suggest it if you haven't seen it. He's more known as a writer than a director. He's wrote both Sicario films. He wrote Hell or High Water, which was one of my favorite films that year it came out. He wrote Without Remorse, the movie with Michael B. Jordan that just dropped on Amazon Prime. He wrote that. He also is responsible for one of my favorite TV series going on right now called Yellowstone. If you haven't seen Yellowstone, I highly recommend Yellowstone. Very good TV series. He's the showrunner. He's directed many episodes. He writes and has wrote for Yellowstone. So that's another one people need to check out if they haven't already. So he has a good reputation of making these drama/violent movies. Both of these movies are rated R. They have their share of violence. They have their share of action. But both movies, the action is not over the top. I would say they more like drama / action films. And I will give Those Who Wish Me Dead, I will give that a B, a strong B though. Give it a strong B. So there you have it. I'm done. I'm finished.